T.Y. Hilton led the NFL in receiving last season with over 1,400 yards. He did this with quickness and deep speed down the field. Also, his innate ability to track the ball through the air is among the best in the entire NFL. In the Colts-Seahawks game on Sunday, I really thought the matchup between him and Richard Sherman was going to be what defined this game. Well, in this one, Sherman completely shut him down and held Hilton to exactly 0 catches on 1 target. From a scheme standpoint, the Seahawks played a lot of man coverage in this game. On the 36 passing snaps, Seattle lined up in man coverage for 21 of those plays. Most of the time, it was some version of cover 1, whether that be cover 1 plug or cover 1 robber, but it was mostly a 1 deep safety look with Earl Thomas and man coverage across the board. Before this game, if I had to estimate the usage of man versus zone, I would have said the Seahawks were in zone for about 2/3 of their snaps. This game was roughly the opposite, and that was simply based on the game plan. Pete Carroll and Chris Richards knew that the Seahawks secondary could outmatch the wide receivers in the line of scrimmage. And the person that exemplifies this physical, pushy, over-aggressive style is none other than Richard Sherman. He made it extremely hard all game for anybody, let alone T.Y. Hilton, to gain any sort of leverage on his routes. He would get his hands inside their shoulder pads and he would work them down the field to the point of obvious frustration. With Hilton, this was definitely the case, and on a number of his routes, Sherman covered him like a blanket, not allowing any separation. On this pass, at the very end of the second quarter, Brissett found Dante Moncrief for a touchdown down the sideline. The Colts are running 2 fade routes, which is a good opportunity type play, especially with limited time on the clock. Before the snap, both Sherman and Griffin are in press coverage on the line of scrimmage. Brissett starts by locating the safety and then instantly targets Moncrief, lining up opposite of Griffin. Now, Griffin actually has good position, but Moncrief's quickness to turn and pull in the ball is truly what allowed him to score on this play. For next time, I would like to see Griffin locate the ball quicker to get his hands inside Moncrief's in order to break up the pass. Now looking at Sherman on this same exact route in this same exact play, you can see how he covered Hilton. He gets his hands on him early and shoves him on his route and using the sideline as an extra defender. There is no room for Hilton to make the catch, which is probably what the Colts expected since they targeted Griffin on this play instead of Richard Sherman. With that in mind, Hilton's 11-yard reception came against Griffin on the left side of the field. He ran a hitch route past the sticks, which got a first down for the Colts offense. If you watch Griffin carefully, he got a little bit tall in his coverage, and that hurt his transition, which is what allowed the late separation on his route. For my tracking, the Colts did not use a lot of motion or really any window dressings to get Hilton the free release he needs to work down the field. There was only 1 or 2 times all game that they did this on, and it worked to actually confuse the Seahawks defense. Before the snap, Sherman is clearly in man coverage on Hilton. The Colts then motion Hilton inside, which causes some confusion between the slot cornerback Justin Coleman and Sherman in coverage. Sherman clearly thinks he's playing outside, while Coleman thinks he's sticking with man-to-man. This allows Hilton to get wide open for his catch. From my film study, I honestly feel like the Colts were expecting the Seahawks to play in zone coverage for a lot of their game. On a play at the start of the second quarter, the Seahawks played cover 3 zone. It's 2nd and 8, and the Colts run a slant flat concept, aiming to get Hilton in space between the zones. They were not, however, counting on Bobby Wagner, who played amazing in coverage by tracking the quarterback's eyes and forcing Brissett to move on to his checkdown. Now, there were some missed opportunities in this game, and many of them were directly the result of the Seahawks pass rush. According to Pro Football Focus, they caused 20 pressures during this game. In 36 dropbacks, this is absolutely incredible. Other missed opportunities simply happened due to poor throws by the quarterback. One of those happened at the start of the first quarter. The Seahawks are in cover 3 with 3 deep defenders. The Colts send T.Y. Hilton on a crossing route to attack the opposite sideline. Sherman starts the play with outside leverage and is essentially playing trail across the entire field. Off of play action, Brissett has a perfectly clean pocket and delivers the pass slightly behind his receiver. With a full step on the cornerback, Hilton easily could have caught this ball if it was placed about 2 or 3 yards closer to the sideline. However, his poorly placed pass allowed Sherman to dive forward and jimmy his hands inside Hilton's to break up the pass. The second missed opportunity happened in the middle of the second quarter. The Seahawks line up with one deep safety pre-snap and then play man coverage on the receivers. On the far side of the field, Hilton runs an in route attacking Sherman's press coverage. Thinking Hilton is going to go deep, Sherman sits on top of his route. Hilton sees this and then cuts across Sherman's face to break into the middle of the field. Now, at this point in the play, you can tell from the pocket that Brissett is looking at Hilton and he really wants to throw this pass. Unfortunately, by the time he arrived to his backside read, Sheldon Richardson had already penetrated and stopped the throw from happening. The third and final missed opportunity happened in the middle of the third quarter. Justin Coleman was in coverage as Hilton lined up in the slot. For those wondering, the Seahawks primarily play zone coverage, and in their defense they pick sides. Sherman is usually on the defense's left, while Shaquille Griffin plays on the right. He really only plays in the slot if 1, the defense is playing in man coverage, and 2, if it's in their game plan for Sherman to follow the star receiver. Anyways, Hilton sheds a jam by Coleman, and then he sprints to the corner of the end zone. At this point in the play, Brissett was already forced outside the pocket. He launched the ball while shifting to his left, and he simply put too much air, slightly overthrowing his receiver. Before we move on, I just want to show that Sherman, even when he wasn't covering Hilton, was absolutely dominant all game. He didn't allow a single catch versus the Colts, and his coverage on simple hitch routes and most outbreaking routes was downright nasty. Overall, this was not a good game for Hilton. Beyond a few missed opportunities and a few short completions, he was outplayed for the vast majority of this game. Before I end this video, BetDSI.com has generously offered a free $25 bet to anybody that uses promo code BREAK25 when you register. For this week, my favorite pick that I'll be using my $25 on is by taking the Packers at +2 versus the Cowboys. Earlier this week, I did a breakdown on Todd Gurley and how he beat the Cowboys defense through the air, and I honestly feel like the Packers have a similar advantage. Again, this bet is completely free as long as you use promo code BREAK25 when you register, so go ahead and do that and have some fun watching this game. Well, that's it for this one. If you liked this video, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. My next long video was actually a suggestion through my Patreon account, so if you want to look at your idea, go ahead and click the link below. As always, you can follow me on Twitter at Samuel R. Gold.